Alright, so in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to calculate contract sizes and futures. So first things first, you guys can see there's a formula on the chart. Now, all you need is three things, which is the risk per trade, tick size, and the tick value. Now, if you have them, just input it into the formula, and then you get the contract size. But if you don't know what it is, I'll be explaining it step by step. But first things first, let's just say you have everything. All you got to do is input the risk per trade, dividing it by the tick size, and then timesing it by the tick value. And then that's what your contract size is. All right. So for the example we're only going to be using ES minis and NQ mini. All right. If you're using something else, you could just find it. But in this case, I'm just using ES mini. And then the account size is going to be a $50,000 funded account. Now for risk per trade, how much are you willing to risk? Me personally, I only risk 1%. So $50,000 or 1% of $50,000 is $500. If you're risking 2%, that's $1,000. Just do the simple math, all right? Now for the stop loss, all right? So when you are entering a trade, you need a stop loss. And for contract sizes, we calculate it by ticks. So if you go to TradingView, you could see if I were to enter here, or first off, let me show you guys how to make a long position. Just go to the bar on the left, and then go to, I think it's a projection, all right, and then click the long position. Now we want to enter right over here, and then we want to have our stop loss down here. Now in order to calculate the ticks, all you got to do is when, let's just say, yeah, the stop loss is going to be here, all right. Every time I move it up or down, that's moved by one tick. And you could see that price moves by 0.25. Now, if I go up, that's going to be 0.75. If I go up again, that's going to be 0.00. Simple. All right. Since we want to put it at a 10, what is it again? A 10 tick stop loss. This displays the amount of ticks from your entry. So in this case, it's 10. If we want to move it to 20, then just move it down all the way until it displays the number 20. So move it back to 10, and then yeah. So like I said, just to summarize it, so for the ones who still don't understand, every time you move or every time price goes up and down, it moves in a tick, which is 0.25. All right. All right, so once we have our stop loss and ticks, we need our tick value. So what you go to do is, or what you do is you go to the website called cmegroup.com, go to markets, and then find what you're trading. In this case, we are trading E-mini, which is on the S&P. Then you want to go to this page right over here called specs. Scroll all the way down to minimum price fluctuation. Now every tick move is by 0.25, like I said, and every time it moves, it's $12.50. So this is the tick value. All right. So once you have the tick value, you write it down, $12.50 per tick per contract. All you got to do is just put it into the formula now. All right, so each contract moves $12.50 per tick, sorry. So with a 10 tick stop loss, all you got to do is times it by the tick value and the tick size. So 10 ticks times $12.50 equals 125 per contract. All right. So now we got to determine the number of contracts, right? This is simple math. So since you're risking $500 per trade, like I said, that's what I want to risk. All you got to do is 500 divided by the dollars per contract, which is 125. And that's literally simple math. It's going to be 4 contracts because every contract is going to equal 125. All right. So I want to be using 4 contracts to risk only 1% if price hits my stop loss. All right. Simple. Very simple like that. Now I'll give you guys another example. So say if the tick size is 30 instead of 10, let's recalculate it. All right. So given everything, uh, all the information we are given, the only thing that is changed is the stop loss, because that's really that's the only thing that's being changed. All right, the stop loss. Everything is the same. Hold on, I need some water. All right, so let's just recalculate it. So each contract moves 1250, like I said, per tick. So with a 30 tick stop loss, you're just timesing it by it. So 30 times 1250 equals $375 per contract. Now determine the number of contracts, right? Now this is a tricky one. Since you are risking 500 per trade, divide by the risk per contract, 500 divided by 375 is not gonna equal like a it's not gonna equal a whole number, right? So it's gonna equal 1.33. But let's just say if you're using top step, you can't put 1.33. Like you can only do whole numbers. So in this case, I'm not gonna be able to risk exactly $500. Um, but each contract is gonna be just like yeah, it's just gonna be 375 per contract. So that's like the maximum the maximum I'll be willing to risk, because if I go above, that's 750, I believe. So 750, um, and I don't want to be risking 750, right? Because that's over my risk percentage. So if I were to take a trade and it is a 30 tick stop loss, I can only risk one contract for this kind of stop loss. All right. All right, that makes sense. Let's go to our next example, which is we are going to be trading on NQ minis now. So same thing applies, but the only thing that has changed is the tick value, right? Because we are not trading on ES mini, we are going to have to find the tick value for NQ mini. All right. Now it already displays on the screen, which is $5 per tick per contract. But if you don't know how to find it, go back to this website, go to markets, and then E-mini NASDAQ 500. I'm not 500, 100. And then go back to specs, scroll all the way down to minimum price fluctuation. Now the same movement in ticks is 0.25. If I go here, you can see it's the same. Price moves, or per tick moves by 0.25. You can see on the right hand side. So like that. And then in this case, yeah, we gotta find the, okay, yeah. So going back to this page, each tick is worth $5. So every time price goes down one time, or one tick, that's $5 gone. All right. Now, let's see what is our stop loss in this case. So I already written it down. If you have a 10 tick stop loss on NQ, which is actually crazy because look how small the stop loss is. All right, this is a really small stop loss. Now, if you have a 10 tick stop loss, this is gonna be, if we do the calculations, so 10 times 5, which is the tick value, if you look at the formula again, that's gonna be $50. All right, now $50 divided by or five, is it five? It's $500 divided by $50, because that's the what is it? What do I call this again? That's the what am dollars per contract. Yeah, that's what it's called. All right, so 500 divided by 50, that's gonna be 10 contracts. So in order for me to risk $500 on this trade, I have to enter with 10 contracts. So that's already like pretty crazy with a tight stop loss. Now let's do another example, like let's do an actual like trade. All right, like that is too tight of a stop loss. I'm gonna say at least 30. All right, at least 30. All right, this is more reasonable. All right. So for a 30 tick stop loss, 30 times the tick value is gonna equal $550. Now, $500 divided by 150, that is going to be 3 contracts. So I'm only going to be trading with 3 contracts if I decide to enter this trade. All right. Now, if I were to use 50, it'd be the same thing. Let me do it again. I mean, now I'm pretty sure you guys have a better understanding, but let me just do this one last example. So 50 ticks, timesing it by 5, which equals 250, and then 500 divided by 250, that is going to be 2. So I'm going to be using 2 contracts. All right, that is pretty simple, and I think I've explained it like pretty well. You could see over here, to risk exactly 1% per trade, 1 contract with a $100 or 100 tick stop loss is 1 contract. 2 contracts is a 50 tick stop loss. So this is just the short answer if I really want to take the easy way, but these are just, you know, the contract sizes. All right, pretty easy. I'm pretty sure I've explained it like pretty well, but if you guys have any other questions or concerns, just comment down below. But other than that, thank you for watching the video, and I actually hope you learned something from this video. But anyways, peace.